Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I will be talking about special editions on my wish list. I'm lucky enough to already own a lot of special editions and rare books that I actually did make a video on, so I will link that video down below. But of course, there are still some special editions that I would love to own one day. So I thought it would be fun to share my wish list for all of the special editions that I want to own. Nowadays, I feel like it's so difficult to keep up with special editions and book boxes and alternate covers. There's much more of an opportunity to own multiple editions of one of your favorite books. But on the same hand, I feel like there's always so many special editions or alternate covers and like two different copies of the same book, and sometimes it is very overwhelming to like purchase all of them and own all of them, and especially for book boxes because they're so limited that if you miss out on it, you miss out on it, and you basically have to try to buy it from a reseller, which people charge way too much for reselling books. Like I've seen some for like thousands of dollars before, which is just insane. I would never spend probably over $150 on a special edition of a book unless it was like my favorite book, but even then, I feel like spending that much amount of money on just one book is kind of crazy. But if you know any places to buy any of the books that I'm going to share today, if you know of any good reselling sites or groups, I know there's like a couple Facebook groups, but if you know any good reselling sites, please let me know down below. Okay, so the first three are like the top of my list. They are the ones that I would spend a lot of money on to own, and then I'm gonna have a section of just like random special editions that I would love to own. Some I definitely don't see myself like actually spending a lot of money buying, but I would still love to own them at some point. And then I'm gonna have another section where it's just different editions or like different covers, like new editions or different alternate covers that I want. The top of my list, we have The 7-Year Split by Ashley Poston, the Fairy Loot edition. This is my favorite book of the year. I absolutely love this book, and I was so sad when Fairy Loot had announced that the general public sale was sold out. So for Canada and the US, if you weren't a Fairy Loot member or subscriber, you couldn't purchase this edition because it was already sold out before it reached the general public, which made me so sad. I was so devastated. I am very glad that I own the Dead Romantics Fairy Loot edition because that is like my prized possession, but I was so desperate for an edition of this. What really sucks about this is that I know so many people have not read this book and they bought the Fairy Loot edition, and also the way that people feel about Emily Henry is how I feel about Ashley Poston. And I'm so bitter I wasn't able to purchase this. I really wanted this edition. I am trying to find it somewhere reasonably priced, but so far I've only found copies on eBay for like hundreds of dollars, and I'm just not gonna do that. I would love to own a third copy of Chasing the Moon by S.M. Soto. So I currently have the original edition, and then I have the Hello Lovely book box edition. I want a third edition, so I don't care what cover I get. I just want to have another copy so that I can annotate it. I know this is kind of crazy, but I want to have each of these editions in like perfect condition, and then I want to get a third copy so that I can reread that copy and annotate it because this is my favorite book. The author was unfortunately exposed for plagiarism, and she basically like played the victim and then left the internet, and most of her books are no longer available to buy. But if anybody is selling any of these editions, I would love to buy a third copy so I can annotate it. I know that's crazy, but this is my favorite book, and I want to keep these copies as perfect as I can. And then the last book that is the top of my list is 10 Trends to Seduce Your Best Friend by Penny Reid, the Belle Book Box edition. I did not know this was a thing until I opened Penny Reid's newsletter, and it was revealed that the Belle Book Box had this special edition. the book box is no longer available to purchase, and I just didn't know about it. I totally would have bought that box if I had known about it, but I didn't, and I missed out on it, unfortunately. I really, really love this book, and I feel like it's very rare for Penny Reads books to have special editions because they're often part of a series, whereas this is a standalone. I loved this book. It was one of my favorite books of last year, so I would love to own the special edition. Now we just have some general special editions that I would love to buy, but I'm not, actively on the hunt for. So the first one is A Learning Hours by Sarah Nye. This is the third book in the How to Date a Douchebag series, but this is the girl edition, and this was, I think, available for book signings only. I think it was a limited edition print just for in-person book signings that Sarah and I had. She did the whole series in like these girl covers, and I would love to own this. I love this book. It is my favorite Sarah Nye book. I do already own 2 editions of this book. I own like the original edition and then like the new illustrated edition, but I would love to own this one as well. The next one is the Dark Elements series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, the Fairy Lou edition. So this actually comes out in November, so I might purchase it. It's probably going to be a little over $100 with tax and with the exchange and all of that. So it is kind of pricey, but then again, you are getting 3 books and they are gorgeous. So I am thinking about purchasing this. We'll see when November comes around. If there are some available for the general public, then I will probably buy these because I can't help myself. They're just gorgeous, and I love Roth and Layla. I don't own very many Fairy Loot editions, so I would love to have this one. Another Fairy Loot edition that I would love to own is the first 3 Vampire Academy books by Rochelle Mead. These are also really, really gorgeous. I love this series. It has been years since I've read it, but I really do love this series. I don't think these are available anymore, so I'd have to definitely buy them from a reseller, but they're gorgeous. They're so pretty. The next edition I would love to own is the Era Books edition of Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous edition. However, it is over $100 Canadian for me, so it is quite expensive just to own the one book. It is signed, numbered, it has a textured cover, it's in a hardcover, it has sprayed edges, a ribbon marker, an exclusive cover. I don't know what the exclusive cover means because it looks like on here anyways it's the same cover as the published edition, but it is gorgeous and I love this book. But do I need it? No. Do I want it? Yes. I think this is still available. I'm pretty sure. I think they're slowly starting to like actually print them and everything, so I don't know, I am tempted. The next one is Tinsel by Devney Perry. This was a Kickstarter, I think, that Devney Perry had done. I can't remember if you could buy each book separately or you had to buy the entire series. I really just want Tinsel. I don't love the rest of the series, but I loved Tinsel. It is one of my favorite books by Devney Perry, and I would love to own this edition. I think it also had like sprayed edges, which was very beautiful, but I think that was like the first print, and then the second print there wasn't any sprayed edges or anything like that, but I would love to own this book. Cover to Cover Book Box did a special edition of Untouchable by Sam Mariano. I did not even know that this was an edition until I think Sam Mariano posted it on her Instagram, and I think she was doing a giveaway, and that's when I found out about the special edition. Didn't even know it existed. I really love this book. It is one of my favorites dark romances of all time. It's also really hard to see like what the cover is as well. Some of these I couldn't really find like good pictures of because a lot of them were just like done as like very pretty Instagram pictures, but it wasn't like an official picture of like what the book is actually supposed to look like. So it is actually really hard to tell what this cover really looks like, but I obviously would love to own it anyways. Pretty Gal Pins did some special editions of the Kimura Chronicles series by Cora Riley. I personally just want to own Twisted Emotions, Twisted Pride, and Twisted Bonds. Those are my 3 favorites in the series, so those are the 3 that I want to own. I don't need the whole series. I don't love the whole series, to be quite honest, so I just want to own those 3. It is also really hard to see what these covers look like as well because there's no clear photos. I think there was a clear photo of Twisted Pride because I think they had done like a separate sale for that or something. And again, it was over $100 for me, and I just couldn't really justify buying like one of them for $100. And also, I think by the time I wanted to buy it, it was already sold out. Another book box that I had never heard of is called Books for Days Crate. They did a very special edition of The Favor by Suzanne Wright, which is absolutely gorgeous. I really love this book. I definitely would not spend like an arm and a leg for this edition because I don't love the book that much, but I still would love to own this edition. It is very, very beautiful. It has like a slipcover, it has a design on the end pages, it has a design on the book itself and the cover. It is just gorgeous. It is a very, very, very pretty book. And then the last like special edition that I would love to own is the Books for Days crate of the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I believe this is officially sold out now, but the whole series is going for, I think, $200, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is not that bad for all 5 books or 6 books. Each book has a different character on the cover, and it has like shiny end papers and stuff. It is a very, very beautiful set. I definitely was not going to spend $200 on it, but it would be nice to own it, you know? Some of these, it's like I want to own them, but I don't want to spend a crazy amount, if that makes sense. I guess that's why it's wish list, because I am wishing I could have these, but like I don't want to spend that much. So that was it for all the like special editions or like book boxes or rare copies. Now on to the basically just newer editions of books that I would love to own that have like different covers, because I either have the original cover or like the old cover, and I just want like a newer version of it, I guess. So the first one is the entire Berkley published edition of the Addicted series by Kristen Becker Ritchie. I already own like 3 editions of Addicted to You, Ricochet, and Addicted for Now, but I would love the Berkley editions because I do have the editions they had right before they published with Berkley. So I have like this edition here where it has just like all the black writing, whereas like the new editions look a little different. They have different writing. Addicted for Now, I think, has a different cover. Same with Thrive and Addicted After All. Feel the Fire has a different color, and then obviously Some Kind of Perfect has the 3 flowers on the front. That is a new cover. I have the original old cover, but I would love to own these Berkley editions, even though I already own like 3 editions of the series. I just love the series very, very, very much, and I would love to own another edition, because why not? I would love to own these new editions of the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. These aren't really that new anymore. I think they've been out for a couple of years now, but I own the original paperbacks where none of them match. I think like the first 3 or 4 match, and then the rest are all different, because back in the day they had changed the series basically, I think, when the last book was coming out. So my whole series kind of is mismatched, but I would love to own these editions. I just think they're really pretty, and I do see myself at some point buying this whole set, because I don't think I'll ever buy like any other special editions of the Lux series. I think this will be the special editions that I own, which are just the newer covers, but I think they're really pretty. I would love to own the new covers of the Covenant series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Again, I own the old original covers when they were like self-published, so they're like a very tall paperback. I believe these were picked up by a publisher not too long ago, and they changed the covers, so these are some of the new covers. I really love this series as well, and I would love to have these editions in my collection. I would love to own the new covers of the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I again have the old covers, the original covers. I think I even have some of them in hardcover. I read this series as it was coming out. I think it was the last 2 books I think that I read when they were being published, and they released these new covers not too long ago, and I love them. I think they're so pretty. I would also just love to own these editions. I really love this series. It is very fun. It is kind of like a young Criminal Minds type of series. And I love just like a colorful cover with like a very plain background. There's just something about it that is very appealing to me. I would also love to own the new covers of the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. The series was picked up by Bloom Books and they have released some new covers. I don't know which ones are available to purchase yet. I think maybe Binding 13 might be out now. I'm waiting to read Saving 6 when the new cover comes out. So I'm waiting for the new edition to come out so that I can read that. I do own the first 2 books in the original editions, but I think from now on I'm going to be reading the new Bloom books. I would also love to own the new covers of the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. These are not new covers, but they are newer to me. I do own the original editions in the hardcover, except for Cinder. I do own Cinder in the paperback, the original paperback, but the rest of the series I own in the hardcovers, and I love this series and I would love to own the new covers. As you can tell, I really want to own a lot of classic YA in their new covers because a lot of them I read years ago and absolutely loved. And this is one of those series that I do see myself at some point rereading. So I would love to own these new covers. The Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare in the new like paperback editions, I would love to own. I have the original hardcovers, except for Clockwork Angel. I have the original paperback for that one. But I would love to own these in paperback. I think I will buy them at some point so I can annotate them because I think that would be really fun. I know that there's also like a bunch of, I think maybe Fairy Loot and maybe some other book boxes that also have special editions of this series, but I think they're quite old, so I feel like I wouldn't even be able to find them anywhere or buy them. And I was looking up special editions of this series and I couldn't really find any, like even on Google, just to see like if there was any available or like if there has been some special editions of the series, and I couldn't really find any. But I'm pretty sure Fairy Loot has done some before in the past, or maybe like Owl Crate or something, but I'm not going to go through hoops trying to find them. So I will just settle for having a second edition of them in the paperbacks because I do like the paperbacks. And I'm always so used to reading Cassandra Clare's books in hardcover, which are so heavy and so big that it actually would be nice to own the paperbacks and maybe reread them. The rest are just alternate covers that I wish I owned. So the first one is Unraveling Him by Claire Kingsley. This is the 3rd book in the Bailey Brothers series. I own the original like man cover, but there is this new like illustrated beautiful drawing cover. I think this is really pretty. I love this book. It was one of my favorite books of last year, I think. It's a Grumpy Sunshine small town romance. It was perfect. So I would love to own this copy. I would love to own a couple of Melanie Harlow's alternate cover books. So the first one is Ignite, which is the 6th book in the Cloverleaf Farm series. I really love this book. I do own the original like man cover. Then I would love to own Call Me Crazy, which is the 2nd book in the Bellamy Creek series, I think. I loved this book. It was one of my favorite books of 2021, I think. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars, so I would also love to own this edition. And then same with Undeniable, which is the 2nd book in the Cloverleaf Farm series, which is also a book that I almost gave 5 stars. I really, really loved it, so I would love to own this little discreet alternate cover. And then lastly, we have On Dublin Street by Samantha Young. This is the new cover. This is the new edition that Samantha Young is releasing. I do actually already own 2 editions of this book. I own a mass market paperback, and then I own the original paperback. And I believe not too long ago, she had released a cartoon cover for this book, but I can't find it anywhere. It might have been just for ebook, maybe. But this is the new discreet cover, I guess. I love this book, so I would love to own it, but I am getting a little tired of authors releasing discreet covers or alternate covers. I understand not everybody likes to have people or men on their romance books for the cover, but I particularly don't care, and I just wish that some authors would stick to one style instead of releasing like two versions. Because I know so many authors nowadays are releasing like a man on the cover and then a discrete cover. It's just very frustrating because pick a lane. Decide what you want to release. I don't need two editions of this book. And I feel like I have to purchase two editions if I really, really love the book. Because then I'm like, oh, I need to have two editions of my favorite book. But I think like authors just need to pick what kind of cover they want to put out and just stick to that. In Samantha Young's case, for example, On Dublin Street has been out for literal years. Actually, let me see how long it has been out for. This has been out since 2012. So in this case, I do feel like having a new edition of this book, since it has been 10 years since it came out, I feel like that's justified. A new like cover is kind of exciting for like a 10-year-old book, but I don't think like every release there should be like two options for a cover. That's just my opinion though. I do think more and more authors are now just releasing discrete covers, which does make me kind of sad because it feels like the original romance roots are kind of fading. But I mean, if it's my favorite book, I will buy all editions that are available. So I guess it really doesn't matter. But that is it for all the books that are on my wish list for special editions or rare copies, or I guess new copies as well, like new covers. Let me know if you own any of the books that I talked about, or if you are also on the hunt for very specific books and covers. Let me know down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.